Good afternoon, my name is Andrea, and today I'm going to show you a brief summary about Rip Van Winkle, and I hope you enjoy it. Washington Irving, he born in April 3 in 1783 in New York, in United States, and he died in November 28 in 1859 in Tarrytown, New York. He's a writer called the first American man of letters, and he was known for the short stories about the legend of Sleepy Hollow and the Rip Van Winkle. Introduction. Washington Irving's short story Rip Van Winkle was published in 1819 and 1820. The Rip Van Winkle story was also supported by a fictional historian named Dietrich Knickerbocker. Knickerbocker is an unreliable character. His appearance reminds readers to question the authenticity of the so-called historical narrative at hand. However, although it looks like a folktale, Rip Van Winkle still makes sense. For example, the sense is located under the Catskills Mountain and on the Hudson River. Both places are real and the conspicuous places in New York City. In addition, the edition of the Dutch explorer Henry Hudson in late the 1500s brought realism to Rip Van Winkle. The setting is set in the mid-1700s before the American Revolution in an unnamed village in New York in the Catskill Mountain. The characters. First, we have Rip Van Winkle. He is the protagonist. He falls asleep in the Catskill Mountain and wakes up 20 years later. Then we have Dame Van Winkle is Rip's wife. She always fights with Rip because he doesn't help her in the house. Then we have Henry Hudson. He's a famous explorer who Rip meets in the mountains. Another character is Peter Vanderdonk. He is the oldest man in the village and the only one to recognize Rip when he returns home. Judith Gardner is Rip's daughter, and she takes him after his return to the village. And the other one is Dietrich Knickerbocker, is a historian who narrates Rip's story. Then we have the plot. The story is about a man called Rip Van Winkle. He is a nobleman who liked to help his people and got along with everyone. Rip got along in a hostel, talking and drinking with some friends there, and they talk about the mayor and about everything that happened there. One day, Rip, when he was on his way to his home in the mountains, he noticed that his dog called him. He was saying, Henry Van Winkle, Henry Van Winkle. So he went even beyond the forest. Being too far from home, he met some men and they offered him a drink that was almost similar to liquor. When Rip took, he fell into a deep sleep, and when he got up according to the next day under a tree, he noticed that his town was very different, that the places he knew were no longer there. So Rip began to ask people about what was happening there. So Rip asked about his mayor, and they told him that he died 18 years ago. Wrinkle did not believe it when suddenly a lady arrived with a baby and began to ask about her friends, even his town, and the lady turned out she was the daughter of Van Winkle. And told her that according to her, he had disappeared 20 years ago. When Rip told her his story, they believe him because paranormal things happened there in the Hudson River. So Rip left with her daughter, and the whole town learned the story of Rip and all that happened there. The climax. The most interesting part for me was when Rip went to the mountains with his dog, and some men who were there gave him to drink liquor, and Rip fell asleep. And when he woke up under a tree, 20 years had passed, and everything had changed. And the point of view, it is a very interesting story. I wonder if the same thing will happen to me, if I will have the same reaction as Rip has. A story to share that is also for all ages, and it is so cool to share that story with our friends.
Thanks for your attention.